thanks for having you again. Today we shall look at how water level proves flat Earth. The natural physics of water is to be level. Even a small child can prove the same. Water seeks its own level. However, mainstream science wants you to ignore your experience and experimentation and instead believe that an invisible force, which cannot be replicated, detected, or proven in a lab, is responsible for bending oceans, lakes, and rivers and has created uniform spherical bulges in water measuring thousands of miles deep. When I first heard about the flat Earth, I assumed that gravity was well proven in a lab since science says that gravity constitutes the driving force behind the formation of the universe. I was shocked to find out that gravity has never been proven and remains an unsubstantiated theory. Gravity is a farce that was created ex nihilo to only explain why we're not flung from a ball spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. Have you ever seen gravity bend water? The surface of all water, when not agitated by natural causes, such as winds, tides, earthquakes, etc., is perfectly level. The sense of sight proves this to every unprejudiced and reasonable mind. Can any so-called scientist, who teaches that the Earth is a whirling globe, take a heap of liquid water, whirl it round, and so make rotundity? He cannot. Therefore it is utterly impossible to prove that an ocean is a whirling rotund section of a globular Earth, rushing through space at the line given rate of false philosophers. According to William Thomas Wiseman, the Earth is an irregular plane. Under the globe model, as a result of gravity, every body of water, even small basins, although too small to measure, must be curved and match the appropriate curvature drop of the Earth. Samuel Robotham wrote in Zetetic Astronomy. Earth not a globe, if the Earth is a globe, and is 25,000 English statute miles in circumference, the surface of all standing water must have a certain degree of convexity, every part must be an arc of a circle. Beginning in 1838, Samuel Robotham began a series of experiments on the Old Bedford River at the Bedford level in Norfolk, England at a distance of 6 miles. Essentially, Robotham marked a sign on a bridge and then traveled on a small boat down the river with a telescope affixed to the base of the boat at precisely 18 inches. He wrote, as the boat receded the notice board was kept in view, and was plainly visible to the naked eye for several miles, but, through the telescope it was distinctly seen throughout the whole distance of 6 miles. He then even lowered the telescope to 8 inches and still the sign was visible. At an observational height of 8 inches, and the board being 6 miles away, there should have been a curvature drop of 16 feet 8 inches, that is, the sign should have been completely hidden below the curvature. However, there was no measurable curvature as the sign was clearly visible. Robotham repeated the experiment in 1844, 1849, 1856, 1862, and 1870, after the official fake test, all with the same result, no curvature. Of course, official science claimed that Robotham was wrong and the experiment was a failure, and so propagandists created a fake experiment with a maladjusted instrument in 1870 that resulted in failure. But we don't have to take anyone's word for it. To prove Robotham, we ourselves conducted our own test at 6 miles across a body of water to replicate the findings of Robotham and recorded the whole thing. Unequivocally, there was no curvature on the body of water as required by official science, ergo, the Earth is flat. Some have countered by claiming that the flatness of the water is the result of refraction. However, refraction can only exist when the medium surrounding the observer is different to that in which the object is placed. Being surrounded with atmospheric air only, and the observer being in the same medium, there is no bending or refraction of the eye line. Robotham, Zetetic Astronomy. In most circumstances, refraction will not play a noticeable role as there is usually no measurable change in conditions, for example, temperature, air pressure, moisture, etc., between the two opposing points. Further, refraction, if it should have a noticeable impact, most certainly would not create the illusion that the Earth is flat but would instead produce a result similar to a Fata Morgana, which looks like a distorted mirror with upside-down images, not a clear visible flat horizon as shown in the video above. Long rivers pose a problem under the globe model as the rivers eventually have to flow up the curvature. According to Eric Dubé's 200 proofs, Earth is not a spinning ball. Rivers run down to sea level, finding the easiest course, north, south, east, west and all other intermediary directions over the Earth at the same time. If Earth were truly a spinning ball, then many of these rivers would be impossibly flowing uphill. For example, the Mississippi in its 3,000 miles would have to ascend 11 miles before reaching the Gulf of Mexico. One portion of the Nile River flows for 1,000 miles with a fall of only 1 foot. Parts of the West African Congo, according to the supposed inclination and movement of the ball Earth, would be sometimes running uphill and sometimes down. This would also be the case for the Parana, Paraguay and other long rivers. Another proof of the flatness of water is the fact that under the sphere model, the bed of the ocean should be considerably less than the distance at the surface. Nevertheless, cables laid at the bottoms of the ocean, considering changes in terrain, etc., equal the distance at the surface. This shouldn't happen. The Earth is absolutely flat. Thanks for watching, everyone.